Was just elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in the last couple hours today, and so we will hear from him and hear his reaction to his election. Let me take you there now. Now Johnson is a 5-time Cy Young Award winner, 4 of those when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Johnson ranks second on the all-time Major League strikeout list, and actually first among left-handers. Johnson is a 10-time All-Star who won 303 games in his career, including a perfect game, and holds nearly every major career pitching record in Diamondbacks franchise history. In 2001, he was named the co-MVP of the D-backs World Series Championship. So now we are just awaiting the press conference to start.
What? Yeah.
Now, along with Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Smoltz and Craig Biggio have received elections as well into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Another interesting fact, this is the 3rd time in history that the Baseball Writers Association of America has elected 4 players into the Hall of Fame. The other times this occurred were in 1947 and 1955. So it has been 60 years since 4 players were elected into the Hall of Fame.
Roland, you always have a reserve seat.
Funny.
Green, can you pull that last one?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, he's like 50 yards away. So.
Hey, Rick. Not when he goes by one on that left background.
Of the 4 players elected with this class, Johnson received the most votes. He was on the most ballots. He was on 534 of the 549 ballots.
Well, thank you all very much for being here today. It's a very exciting day in the history of the Arizona Diamondbacks franchise to have with us one of the newest Hall of Famers, Randy Johnson, who was elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame today.
I was?
Breaking news. Additionally, we're also very excited to announce that he'll be rejoining the organization as the Special Assistant to President and CEO Derek Hall. So with that, we'll turn it over to Randy for an opening statement and then open it to questions.
I don't even know where to start. First of all, I would like to congratulate Craig Biggio, a former teammate of mine for two months in Houston, John Smoltz, and Pedro Martinez, all well-deserved. I'd also like to throw out that at some point, I'd like to see a couple of my other teammates, but far foremost, I would like to see Edgar Martinez, who I played with for a long time in Seattle. I think he's the greatest pure hitter that I ever saw play or ever faced. So I'm hoping that at some point soon he'll have the same opportunity. With that being said, it's not something that, since I've retired, that I thought about much. As some of you may know, I've kind of fallen back on a passion that I studied back in college, which is photography. I'm also a big USO supporter. I've been on 7 USO tours in the last 5 years. I recently just got back from Cuba and South Korea this year, or 2014. So I've been staying busy and been a little removed from the game by choice, simply because after 26 professional years, 4 years in the minor leagues and 22 in the major leagues, I really just felt like now was my opportunity to have a little bit of time for myself and travel with my family and do some of the things that I otherwise couldn't do because I didn't have the schedule or the time to do it preparing for baseball. And I've really been enjoying my time away from the game and the people that I've met. Getting back into baseball mode these last couple weeks. It was something 5 years ago people were talking to me about, and I put it off because 5 years just flew by. And now we're at this day where I got the call, and I'm so appreciative and honored. I never joined a fraternity in college, and now I'm amongst one of the coolest in the world. So I'm very humbled. There's so many Hall of Fame players that I've faced that are in the Hall of Fame. A lot of Hall of Famers that I faced and have admired. A lot that played before me that I became friends with, that were my mentors. And quite a few that recently that, like I said, I faced, and some that I've played with now, as in Craig Biggio. I've always felt a little uncomfortable, whether it was after a good game I pitched here or anywhere, to get up and talk in front of all the media about my performances. I always tried to, like to think, remain a little humble, and that may have been taken the wrong way. So for me, it's a little uncomfortable sitting here talking about the Hall of Fame. But I am ecstatic, and I'm very humbled and proud, and I honestly didn't think about it a lot these last 5 years because I really felt like I was having so much fun doing the things that I was doing, removed from baseball. I still went out and visited Derek and Gonzo and some of the young kids a couple of times during spring training. I look forward to doing that more, but I just really wanted some time with my family and the USO, visiting the men and women that support us has been really wonderful. And I think everybody kind of needs that, and so that's kind of my opening statement. I kind of rambled there, but I guess some things don't change.
It's all good.
Where are we now?
We're going to go ahead and please wait for the microphone because we are live on both dbacks.com and foxsportsarizona.com. We'll open it up to questions. Go ahead and raise your hand if you've got one.
No questions. Okay, let's go.
Jack Magruder in the back there. Can we get a mic to him, please?
Thanks, Randy. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Jack.
You know, the cap issue is always going to come up, and can you just tell us where you stand on that, as that's been decided? And
That is something that I've recently heard is out of my control, despite what most people might believe. Today, I just want to celebrate the 22 years at Major League level that I played, and I believe the 6 teams that I represented, and just kind of take that in. And I've heard in the coming week, I will talk to some representatives with the Hall of Fame, and that will be something that we'll discuss. But today, I haven't thought about that. I'm just kind of taking it all in and celebrating with you and some teammates of mine and a lot of family.
Congratulations, Randy.
Thank you.
How do you stay young and I got old? I don't know. But what did those years here mean to you? The 4 straight Cy Youngs, the World Series championship, all the big success that you had as a team.
Every place that I played had a lot of meaning. I played for 6 teams: Montreal, Seattle, Houston, Arizona, New York, and San Francisco, with a stint back to Arizona after New York and in between San Francisco. So 6 teams. I could sit here for an hour and tell you the importance of every team that I played for to me. But the time that I played here from '99 to 2004 was career changing, to put it that way. I was coming into my own midway through my time in Seattle. Got traded in '98 from Seattle to Houston. In Houston, that was by far the best 2 months I've ever had in my career. I never had 2 months here in Arizona like I did the 2 months that I had in Houston. So Houston was pivotal for that reason. Then I come here, and the former owner, Jerry Colangelo, and I thank him for making this all possible, was over at my house constantly telling me how wonderful Arizona would be. And they had just lost, I believe, in '98, 100 games or close to it their first year. And at the other teams I'm visiting, the Anaheim Angels and the Dodgers and the Texas Rangers. So it's narrowed down to 4 teams. And here's 3 teams that have been around for a while, have history and huge fan base and great players that have come and gone through there. And Jerry Colangelo is knocking on my door saying, well, you could be change the outlook on this team, the credibility, and that's a lot of responsibility. I felt like, wow. So with his persistence, I came here and trusted him, and '99 was a big turnaround year, but they had also, by that time, we went out and got, Gonzo was here, and, Matt Williams and Jay Bell and Andy Bennis, and the nucleus of good players were here. They just needed a little bit more. But when you get the credibility, then you get players that might want to come here. And I think as soon as we started winning, as time went on, more players were kind of coming into Arizona and helping this team win. But by far, the time from '99 to 2004 were career-changing for me. I mean, like I said, I've had special moments on all the teams that I've played for, but by hands down, there's no 4 years, and heck, I'll even throw in the 2004 year where I had a pretty good year and we lost 100 games. That match anywhere else. But that's not to say that everywhere else I played wasn't as special. Every place that I played was special. I really enjoyed playing here in Arizona. The teammates that I had, a lot of them were really good at what they did. It was fun to watch them on any given night do what they do. That was the same call in Seattle. I mean, how can you not like watching Pedro Martinez or King Griffey Jr. or Omar Vizquel? But by far, this time that I played here was career-changing, like I said, and very pivotal in my career. It was the window of my opportunity. The window was open for me to do whatever I was going to do. There were some signs of some consistency in Seattle the last 4 or 5 years that I was there. And then when I went to Houston, like I said, that was the best 2 months. Then I really came into my own my first year here through 2004. So I'm grateful that everything worked out the way it did, that I was a part of so many special moments for the fan base and for the organization here to have been a part of a championship. That's what any player in any sport plays for. Not necessarily, individual accomplishments, but to be dogpiling on, the pitcher's mound and be celebrating and be riding down the street with your family on a fire truck. I mean, who doesn't dream about that? That's pretty cool stuff. And that's what you play for. And I got to do that. And I think about the people that will be behind me in Cooperstown, and some of them haven't had an opportunity to win a World Series. And then some that I've met, when I was playing in New York, Yogi Berra would come and sit next to me on a daily basis, and I would just listen to his stories. And I don't know how many World Series championships he has. He doesn't have enough fingers for his World Series. And so there's extremes. There's some people that have been to a lot, and then there's some that haven't been to any. And I feel very fortunate that I've been to at least one and won it, because those memories that you have in a World Series will never leave you. And the moments, the fan base that I still run to at Starbucks or wherever, saying how special it was, that goes a long ways. They don't come up and they don't talk about the Cy Youngs, and they talk about the World Series. So what's that tell you? It's important to them too. So that's why it's so important to me. Well, they also talk about the dead pigeon too, but.
Paula.
Again, congratulations,
like that,
Randy. Congratulations, Randy. And you kind of addressed this, I think, with Bob's question, but you talked about the moments of your career here. For you, is the most powerful one the World Series? You had an incredible perfect game. You had 20 strikeouts. I think there were so many moments. Is that the one that?
There's special moments. I enjoyed a lot of those accomplishments, but I would trade 4 Cy Youngs in for maybe 2 more opportunities to be in the World Series and take the Diamondbacks back to a World Series. That's what you play for, and the electricity and the opportunity to really rise to the occasion and be at your best performance. And there was a lot of times where I was in postseason 99 here against St. Louis. I failed against the Mets. And prior to that, I really wasn't a good postseason pitcher. I only had a couple of good games against the Yankees in '95 in Seattle. I really didn't shine, and I felt bad because, it's really about, it's not that I wasn't trying. I mean, some people just have that moment in them, but I finally feel very fortunate that I was able to have my moment along with everybody else's at the same time, celebrating 2001. So by far, when you have your moment and everybody else is having theirs, it's really special. So it far outweighs any individual accomplishment that I have. Because when the fans come up to me occasionally and they say, yeah, I was there in 2001, that means more to me than someone saying, any individual thing.
Randy, congratulations. Could you just talk a little bit about what you kind of see your role with the team being kind of going forward here?
I'm going to be the assistant to the assistant. I will find out how Gonzo likes his coffee, where to park his car. I'm open to anything. Obviously, I have a busy next couple of days, but I plan on talking to Derek in discussing in what capacity I can help. It's not to say that I still don't have plans on doing what I want to do, but I will make myself available more now than ever. But we will sit down. I would love to. I don't see myself being a coach, but I do see myself going around to the minor leagues, and I think that's where I can best help. I can sit down with a young kid that might be struggling and say, you know what, I'm in the same boat when I was in A-ball. You got to fight through it. So I think those kids at the minor league level can be more receptive to what I have to say than someone up at the major league level, possibly. And so I would like to feel like I could benefit the minor league kids in this organization more. It's not to say that I won't be at spring training on hand, you know. But that, being at spring training, traveling throughout the minor leagues, and then doing some charity things, making myself available.
Jody.
Randy, congratulations again. You talked about the time that you spent with photography and traveling, and you've enjoyed these years. Was there a moment you knew you wanted to get back into baseball and maybe in something like this? Was there a time?
Well, eventually, yeah, sure. I mean, me and Derek had talked about it. Oh, my God. I mean, I've been to Africa twice. I've been to Turkey. I've been to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Afghanistan, Kuwait. The list goes on. I've traveled twice around the world since I've been retired, and I enjoy that. A lot of it was for the USO. Some of it was for personal vacations with my family. I enjoy that. I'm not going to, as long as I can not need a walker, I'm going to continue to do that. And I enjoy my photography. I'm not great at it, but I enjoy it. It's therapeutic for me, much like going out and pitching. I enjoy that. So I knew that I just needed that time to kind of unwind. I was wound pretty tight for 22 years, especially probably about the last 15 when I really came into my own in this game. It took me a while to really, I struggled. And then when I found my consistency and my ability to compete at a consistent level, I had a lot of fun. But I also realized that I had a lot of responsibility to my teammates, the organization, and the fan base. And that's a lot to live with when your teammates or the fans think, well, my God, or even the media, I mean, how many times did you go, oh, he struck out 10, 15, it was no big deal because they did it last week? There was a teammate of mine that said, you're in a no-win situation. I'm saying it not verbatim, but, and you know who he is. You're in a no-win situation because if you do well, you were supposed to do well. As much like any athlete that is at his prime. If you do well, you're supposed to do well. If you fail, you have to tell them why. So striking out 15 or 19 or 18, whatever it was fun, but it was kind of like, I don't think it came to be expected, but it was just one of those, it was a Randy performance. So a lot of the fun was kind of taken out of it. And I took some of it out because that's the level that I was pitching at and what I expected out of myself. But I want to get back and work with the Diamondbacks. I will, but I really just needed the time to have some fun and unwind. And I'm doing a lot of that now. I'm having a lot of fun, and but I can still be a red ass. I mean, I'll tell some of these young kids, you know what? Let's go. You know, I'm not afraid. I'm not wearing a uniform, so I'm just in their voice. You know, but I'll be more than happy to kick them in the ass and say, let's go. And I'll do that because I had it done to me, and I think that there's a lot of pampering that goes on in this game. I still watch it a little bit. I still follow the Diamondbacks. I still follow the Seattle Mariners. I love watching a good game. But but I'm excited about at some point me and Derek will talk, and you'll see me around a little bit more.
We'll do the last two over here.
Thank you, and congratulations again, Randy. I've heard you speak a lot about the time that you've had off and the time that you're spending with your family. And the questions that I have for you, with all of these accomplishments and this new honor, what is your next big goal that you'd like to achieve?
My gosh, that's a good question. Wow. I would just, what goal would I want to accomplish? Well, I think just on a daily basis, whatever I'm doing, have fun at doing it. And if it means being at the ballpark and trying to have an impact on somebody, whether it's conversation or showing them something physically, showing them mechanics, having an impact on someone that way. From a professional standpoint, from a business standpoint, personal, I just kind of continue doing what I'm doing and walk around with a smile and enjoying stuff, and I'm doing that quite a bit. But the bottom line is just having an impact,
Last one, Coop.
Okay, Randy, congratulations again. Randy, everyone in this room knew you'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Heck, everybody that covers baseball knew you'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, how many of you had votes?
Good question. When you got the call, did you try to act surprised, or can you share your emotion with us relative to that call?
My phone was on. The number came up, 212. That meant New York. And I answered it, and it was Jack O'Connor, who I haven't talked to since, because there's been no reason, but he was the one that would call me on my Cy Youngs. So for a while there, we became friends every year. And that's exactly what I said to him when he called today. I go, wow, you out of sight, out of mind, huh? You haven't called me in a while. But we had a good laugh, and he just wanted to say that congratulations, you've been inducted into the 2015 Hall of Fame. And at that point, and at no point before leading up to this, I got goosebumps, and I felt like I've never felt before in my life. This isn't things that you plan out in life. You don't say you're going to do what you do. Everybody goes out and does what they do, and you try your hardest, and hopefully things fall the way you envision them. But I'm not good at talking about myself. I am in the bad context because I was a really bad pitcher growing up, and I was inconsistent. Being almost 7 feet tall, 6'10", is not something, you're not meant to be a pitcher. There's too many, my limbs are too long. And the biggest thing in being a pitcher is you need to have a consistent release point. Well, it's pretty hard when you're all arms and legs. So that took me a long time to overcome. And I fought myself a lot when I could go out and pitch a good game. And then I would follow that game up with 7 walks in 5 innings when I was with the Expo minor league organization, and it would be deflating. I would wonder what the hell's going on. And so was the Montreal Expos organization. I remember Jim Fanning, who was in the minor league organization, and he actually sat me down and he goes, you struck out 10 batters in 5 innings, your last start, and today I'm taking you aside and you walked 7 batters. What's going on, Randy? And I go, I don't know. For me, it was extremely frustrating. I never envisioned any of this. The only time I ever envisioned anything when I was probably about 10 years old, I was playing Little League Baseball. I grew up in the Bay Area, and as a Little League player, you could walk on the field at the Oakland Coliseum. much like they had when I was pitching here. And that's why I would step off the mound when I was at a ballpark, when they had a Little League day, and I would just kind of take those moments in because I was in those shoes with that little kid walking by. I wasn't thinking about anything other than, wow, I'm a little leaguer and I'm walking on a big league field. And the only ballpark that really meant anything to me at 10 years old or however old I was then was the Oakland Coliseum, because I grew up in Livermore, which is about 45 minutes east of there. And back in the 70s, that's when the Oakland A's were winning the World Series. The person I looked up to was Vida Blue, a left-handed pitcher. So I never dreamed about any of this. I only thought, wow, this is so cool walking on a major league field, because I was a little league player. Did I ever envision playing in the major leagues? I thought, my God, that'd be kind of cool, playing with my friends in the cul-de-sac, playing stickball with the tennis ball. You know, we all emulated somebody. I remember putting tape on my wooden garage door, and I would be out in the street. I'd pace off maybe about 30 or 40 feet, and I would throw in this little tape box. That was my strike zone against my wooden garage door. And I was Vida Blue with a tennis ball, throwing against this wooden planked garage door. Well, after about a half an hour, my dad would come out and he would have a hammer in his hand. And he would say, you make sure you pound all those nails back in the wooden garage door. That's what I envisioned. I didn't envision any of this, you know? And I'm sorry I couldn't share more of what I was really about when I was playing. But I guess it was more about how my dad raised me and taught me to not ever be content on what you were doing, because there's always somebody better than you doing it. And how do you know how good you can be until you stop doing it? And I really took that to heart, because now when I've stepped away from the game, I can answer a question. Well, what was your best game? What was your best performance? Well, it would be the perfect game. I was perfect. But leading up to that, I don't know. I would have to really look into that, you know? But I always tried to get better. And that's why I was so hard on myself, because the window of opportunity, and this is something that I'll tell the young kids, and I'll look them straight in the eye. There's no guarantee you're going to play 22 years. There's no guarantee you'll play 5 years. So why would you want to put off then what you can do now? And I'm very fortunate. I broke into the major leagues really late, when I was 25. Now people are in the major leagues when they're 20. So they had 5 years of experience in the major leagues. You know, I had to wait because I was consistent. You know, it's there for the taking, but you have to work hard. You know, for me, I had to work extremely hard, and I'm very fortunate for the people that stuck with me. Pitching coaches throughout the years, I had a million of them. Medical staff, I needed all of them to put me back together. Teammates to encourage, support me, and make me look as good as I did. And the 15 to 20 personal catchers that I had over 22 years. All of that is the ingredients of why I'm here. Everything else, all the individual stuff, was all just kind of icing on the cake. But the ingredients are all the people that got me here and kept me here and supported me. You know, I talked to my mom. My mom was the only person that I talked to after I got that phone call, because I was told I couldn't call anybody. And I go, not even my mom? No, not your mom either. She was the only person that I called. And I said, you can't call anybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? And she was crying. And at 87 years old, she is still extremely sharp in her memories of me when I was little. And I forget a lot of these. And it's fun hanging out with old friends from college, you know, on the Trojan baseball team. Randy Robinson, a good friend of mine who I played with, we'll hang out and we'll have a beer, and how do you remember all this stuff? You know, I maybe because I was able to go on and make some more memories. But my mom, the one thing she had said before we hung up is really encapsulates what everything was about. She was the one that got me to my Little League practice I was 7 years old, and I went to Little League tryouts the first time ever, and there was 5 fields there. And I went by myself. My dad was at work as a police officer. My mom was a secretary for General Electric. So I had 3 sisters and 2 brothers all doing their own thing. So I walked to Little League practice. Well, at 7 years old, it can be kind of confusing when there's hundreds of people there. You don't know where to go and, you know, who to see. And so I got flustered. I left. I came back. My mom goes, "Why are you home? You're supposed to be at practice." Well, she took me back there, got me where I was supposed to be. I got there in time to hit and pitch and field. And that was the beginning of what I never foresaw. I mean, how could anybody foresee what this was all going to turn out to be? But it was, you know, an opportunity. And my mom remembered that, and that's special to me. There's certain moments that I won't forget. I might forget about certain performances on the field or whatever, but there's certain things that are embedded in me. You know, when a Little League kid walks by, or when I was a Little League kid, my mom stating, "Well, I remember when you were 10 years old, you were so tall then that I had to buy 2 uniform bottoms and sew them together so you wouldn't look like you were wearing knickers." Stuff like that. You know, those are the memories that I have, that I enjoy hearing my mom or hearing the stories from past teammates, you know, sitting down, and because I don't remember them all. I've been so fortunate that I've made a lot, and I'm so happy that I have the friends that I've made, that I've still stay in touch. I mean, I got a couple of phone calls from high school teammates, you know, that meant a lot to me. They were great friends, and we lost a little bit of touch, and over the years we got back in touch, starting back in 2009 when I was playing in San Francisco, and we haven't lost touch since. But it's that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, that's where baseball took me, and I'm so fortunate because, like I said, not a lot of people get the opportunity to play as long as I did. And the players that I got to play with, the players that I got to play against, the ballparks that I got to see and pitch in, it was a great ride. And I guess, you know, it's not the final or closing chapter, but it is maybe coming towards the end of the book, and the best has happened now. And this is a moment that I enjoy, but I'm sharing with a lot of people because it's been made possible by a lot of people, starting back when I started playing baseball, that encouraged me to continue playing when it was very frustrating. There was a lot of times where I was planning on quitting the game and doing what, I don't know, but it wasn't going to be playing baseball because it was very frustrating for me. And that's how frustrating it was. So when I finally was able to come into my own and enjoy watching the likes of Greg Maddux and people like that, you know, watching real pitchers pitch, well, and then trying to incorporate a little bit of what they do into what I was doing, you know, I felt like, you know, I'm kind of getting somewhere in this game. I feel like I'm competing. I feel like I'm pitching. I'm not just out there trying to throw the ball by everybody. At age 46, I'm pitching against 30-year-olds that are a lot bigger, stronger. The strike zone is still as small as it ever was. The ballparks are still small. And I'm not throwing 100 miles an hour. I'm throwing 87. And when you can get out someone like that, now I probably was taking more out of the latter part of my years getting a double play than I was striking out the side. You know, as fun as it was, I felt like if I could get a double play, wow, that's pretty cool. Especially when I'm trying to get one, you know? Because that's really what pitching is all about. And I evolved into that over time. And some pitchers that are in the Hall of Fame and pitchers that I've watched that maybe aren't Hall of Fame pitchers now, I may have thought, wow, they're really good at what they do. Because they're doing stuff that I'm only watching them do and I can't do. So as I watched more players over my career, I tried to incorporate little things. I tried to be a smarter pitcher. I tried to see where my defense was setting up to pitch accordingly. As I got older, I realized I wasn't going to be able to go out and throw 140 pitches a game. I was going to have to utilize, make more, have hitters contact a little bit more. Pitching like that, you know, trying to be a smart power pitcher, and then eventually just trying to be a smart pitcher. But I really enjoyed the run. I enjoyed all the moments that I had. It's fun talking to people over the last 5 years since I've retired. Them sharing their memories with me, because now I'm a little bit more readily available. I'm not at the ballpark as much, so access, running into me is a little bit more likely than being at the ballpark. And the two things that stand out the most, obviously, are, the highlights in a lot of people's eyes are Killing the Bird in 2001 and the John Kruk thing. So I'm glad that I made an impact somewhere along the line, and some humor. I'd like to think that I was extremely loyal to the teams that I played for, all 6 teams, that I gave everything that I had, that I went above and beyond the call of duty at times that most people don't think about doing. When it comes to pitch counts, or having a manager say, "Can you give us one more?" When I'm laboring inside, I'll go, "Yes." I said yes. I would say yes. It's just sports. You do that. But that's where I was in my career at times, that people entrusted in me, and I'm thankful for them entrusting in me. Some of the teammates that I played with, the levity that they brought to the team. You would hate to have 25 guys in a clubhouse like me on game day. So I'm thankful that there was people like, Craig Counsell or Gonzo or, Jay Bell here, or Armando Reynoso speaking his Spanish and doing his practical jokes, people like that, because you need it.
So congratulations to you, Randy. And yeah, I'm just waiting to see if we will get that feedback from Randy Johnson's press conference. In the meantime, I do have some more stats for you. Johnson was on 97.3% of the ballots, and Pedro Martinez was on 91%, and it looks like we have this feed again, so let me take you back there.
They appreciate and they count on you, and I think that is earned over time. Much like the manager, Lou Piniella, saying, "You make the call whether you want to stay in a game." You earn that. You have to earn these kind of things in your career, whatever you do, and that's based on time and your ability to do that and show that you're capable of doing it before someone will let you do it. Eventually, you got to do that and show people that you're capable of doing it, and then they'll start entrusting in you. And I think it took a long time for people to believe in me, in anything. And after they did, then I ran with it. And then I was very confident and motivated, but I would never thought that at any time that, things couldn't change. I pitched today, I pitched as good as I could. I wasn't looking for my next performance. I gave everything that I had on that given day. And the 4 days leading up to that, I may not have been able to give someone 15 minutes. I could only give them 10 because I needed to go work out or get my back worked on. But I enjoyed every moment. And I'm enjoying my moments now, and I will continue to enjoy my moments with the Diamondbacks and doing the things that I do off the field. It's been a great opportunity to play Major League Baseball. Well, listen to you is you got to go out and do it. You can talk to your blue in the face, but I'll get someone's attention like a Matt Cain if I've already done it or I'm still doing it. Now I'm going to tell them how to do it. They'll entrust in you and they'll listen to you because you're doing it or you've done it. But you got to do it first. You can't talk. You got to walk the walk. And I'm thankful that all these teams let me fail until I could finally pick up myself off the ground and succeed. Because early in my career, if you look back, and it's well documented, that I struggled a lot. And the teams that benefited from my success the most was Seattle towards the end of my career, Houston for that 2 months, and Arizona here for that run that I had here. And unfortunately then, when I went to New York, I still won 17 games, 34 games in 2 years. I was towards the end of my career. Pitched with a herniated disc half of the year, my last year there, but I never complained about it. And then I went on to San Francisco. I realized 5 wins away, this is the end of my career. Have fun. That's why that I was able to help some of the young kids. That's what I want to do wherever I am, but most likely here with Derek and the organization. That's what I want to do. But I think I'll probably have more of an impact with the younger kids. But I want to help the young kids.
All right, well, thank you all very much for being here. We're going to, if anybody would like to grab Ken Kendrick, Derek Hall, or Randy's representative, Alan Nero, in the next couple of minutes, you can. We've got Randy with a couple other live hits that we've got to pull them out to here. But thank you all very much for being here today, and we'll see you back again soon.
All right, that looks like it is a wrap on that press conference, again, hosted by Randy Johnson. Obviously, you guys have seen that he has been elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame, along with Pedro Martinez, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio. Congratulations, Randy. Wish you all the success in your new role with the Diamondbacks as special assistant to the president and CEO of the Diamondbacks. And this has been your Fox 10 News Now update. As always, if you want live updates and breaking news as it happens, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Fox10Phoenix. I'm Samia Khan. Thanks for watching.